Hello and welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse. I'm T.A. Newman, your host. My team and I will be bringing to life adventures using the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, cosmic horror, character death, and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write an adventure for others to play. We'd like to thank Syrinscape, whose tools have helped provide the background sounds that you hear, and if you'd like to become a friend of the Playhouse, then please support us on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse, where you can gain access to exclusive shows and content for as little as £1. In the last act, entering the monastery, Griss and Linus dispatched the collective monks that were praying over their dead leader. Yulva and Orm questioned where Askr and the other raiding party were. Yulva began to lose her grip on sanity as a goat chicken root monster burst out from one of the rooms where Griss removed its head with a swing of its axe. Yulva tried to burn the monastery down, knowing that this is a cursed place. Linus hears the voices in the walls repeating the words of everybody present in all languages known to man. Still, true to his faith, he loots as much as he can and sees some bizarre stained glass. Orm had a vision, seeing Askr Yelloweye running into the cellar of the monastery and speaking words to her to a point on the wall saying, "For you, Freya, and the seeds of Yggrdasil." A realization descended upon the group that certain stones had been placed in the building of the monastery for a hidden purpose. And now we pull back the curtain on Act 3 of Branches of Bone. Welcome to Branches of Bone, Act 3, where our Viking raiders are in the midst of it. And once again, our face-painting crew is sponsored by my children. Superb. Nearly one finger in the eye this time. So, we are in a ridiculous cross-like monastery built of stone. This bizarre religion where one god is worshipped, ignoring all of those who are here to help you right now. You stand in this cold environment, this one monk in the middle, in the center of this cross formation building, terrified, arms up, breathing quickly, looking between you. He looks and sees Linus. This quite well. Linus, could you remind me what it is that you look like?
Linus is not a pretty man. Linus is not a pretty man. He is spent his life on the boats. He spent his life traveling around, wind in his face. He has aged far beyond his years. He has scars across his face that make him fairly difficult to look at, to be honest with you. But he is dressed in leather armor, the garb of a Viking raider. But he is not so much the man who stands at the front. He tends to be at the back, sort of person who stabs those who are still alive and steals from them.
With this
Linus
monk
is a survivor,
being still alive and the closest to you in this moment, at the eastern side of this monastery, he's whipping his head and he's occasionally looking at you and then looking away. Your features, your face, among your own people, it may be discomforting, but for him it is terrifying having this Viking raider in his monastery, and just it's almost more terrifying to him that you are not paying him the attention that he thinks a raider would. You're almost ignoring him, which is giving him this incredible in a moment where life is very, very cheap, a very, very sense of his self-worth, which isn't great. but among that, with you walking behind him, his eyes are flicking forward. He has just seen the mighty Griss Orenson cleave this hideous monster, this goat chicken squawking like thing with these roots wrapping around its flesh, just cleave it in half. And you can just see this small thin layer of steam just now out of this half chicken goat-like body. Griss, you're standing there. What do you do in this moment?
I start to look around, trying to sort of make sense of what I'm seeing in front of me. I grab hold of the monk and I start asking, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" I'm trying to point towards it.
And what are you pointing at? The goat chicken squealy monster?
Yes, the remains. Yeah.
So straight away, can I just quickly ask you all for a listen roll, please? Lynne, I would like Ylva to give me a listen and a luck roll, please, because someone was trying to start a fire in their madness.
Well, I completely failed to hear anything because I rolled a 93 versus 50.
Okay.
Let's see if I can torch the place yet. Oh, yes!
Uh-oh, indeed. Okay, I think there's a few things that are going to happen here. What was the roll, Lynne?
The roll was an extreme success. 4 versus 32.
Well, okay. Roasting on a chest. Okay, so let's have a look at these other listen rolls then. Ylva failed the listen roll. Linus?
Hard success, 1245.
Ooh, okay. Griss?
That was a good question. Give me 2 seconds. Hard success. No, that's a lie.
No.
I'm lying to you. That's a failure.
A critical success. Was it? No.
It's
No, it
very
wasn't.
much a failure. It's 74.
Okay, so a failure. Okay. And Scott, how did Orm do?
Yes, Orm is, I think, probably too alarmed by the fire to be listening to anything.
Okay, perfect. So it's in that moment, and Griss, you can see this too because of where you are. Although actually, you've now got this monk, aren't you? And you're shouting in his face. So I don't think you do see this because you are distracted by this monk and shouting in his face. We'll say Ylva, quite rightly, is probably distracted by not being able to hear what's going on. But in that moment, and Ylva, I'm going to ask you in a minute how you spark this fire into life. What is it that perhaps Ylva frantically does in her madness? But Orm is there. And we know that Orm has been kind of keeping an eye on you as this has been going on. But Linus, you got a hard success on your listen roll. So you hear something very unusual. You hear Griss. Griss, what words did you say to the monk? What did you shout?
What is this? What is this?
You hear those words, Linus, but you hear them echoing from somewhere else. This voice that you've been following, you now realize that these are voices all speaking at the same time. And they're speaking your language. They're speaking Old Norse, but they're also speaking English. They're also speaking, languages that you can't quite decipher, but you know there are other languages being spoken, but they are repeating Griss. And then the monk spoke. Pardon, Frederick, para young Fratendra on Iron Red, Skógrbein. You hear the voices. You hear these voices from downstairs in downstairs and or upstairs bouncing off these walls. You hear these voices and you hear them clearly. One of them coming through speaking Old Norse. This is our monastery. We're protecting here. You have to understand. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. Please don't kill me. I can help. You hear that as a whisper on those voices coming through. It matches the intonation, the inflection, the tone, and the emotion that the monk is speaking with. It's almost happening like a fraction of a second later.
And it's upstairs or downstairs, I'm not sure. It's
Okay, with a hard success, I think it's fair to say that you can hear that echoing from the kind of the northeastern stairwell, which you can see. It was a door that one of the monks had been pinned to with a spear, but you can see that it leads downstairs. That was before you came in. So Askr Yelloweye and his raiding party that got there before you, they probably speared this monk and perhaps
I
that's
think
the
I'm going
path
to
they
walk
left.
back towards the others and say, I think Askr is downstairs. Should we? Why is that on fire?
Just a second before, why is that on fire? Perfect. Ylva, what happens in that moment? Because you have been trying to make a fire.
I have, and obviously this has had livestock in it. It's obviously the goat has urinated frequently on the straw, so I've been trying to light the damp bits. But fortune has finally favoured me in that a spark from my flint, which I am furiously striking with the edge of my knife to create the fire, has finally landed on a dry bit of straw and taken. And flour is slightly explosive. If you did say there were sacks of flour and things in it, didn't you?
Flour. There's any kind of local kind of agricultural farming that you would do on a small island. It's piled here. There are bags of flour. There's bags of seeds. There's you can see that there's corn that's still wrapped in its leaves but broken from the stems. You can see that this is a dry store.
Dry.
A
The
very
operative word.
dry store.
Although to be fair, flour is only usually explosive once the bags have exploded and it's hanging in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So we're reasonably okay on the explosives front.
For now.
For now.
What happens? I want to know.
You want to know? Oh, well, obviously the flames start to spread across the straw, heading for all this beautiful dry stuff that's been stored. With
Griss.
a rustle and a crackle.
Oh, Linus, Orm.
Yeah, well, I think Orm was, after everything else that had happened, was turning back and taking another look at what Yulva was up to, and is going to look around, see whether there's any water or milk from the goat or anything like that around here, any liquids that he can throw on the fire.
Okay. Can you give me a spot hidden, please?
That is an ordinary success, 33 under 45.
Perfect. Orm, you immediately look around and luckily at the other side of this dry store, that's where you see this bucket of water that seems to be a bit to the side of where Yulva is. But I'm gonna just ask before you're able to get there. So you see it, Orm, you clock that bucket of water, but there's a moment where this fire, as Yulva has struck it into life, this spark, this as the fire catches and begins to take, you all feel something like a sick feeling in your stomach as this fire takes. Can you all give me a power roll, please?
Oh, this should be good.
And I think as you're rolling these power rolls, one of the most disturbing things is that you can see in this moment is it's not just a fire that is starting in a building that you are trapped in. It's that the cleft in half body of the goat chicken root monster seems to be twitching, seems to be vibrating somewhat nearby. Let's have a little look at these power rolls, shall we? Ylva.
Well, the dice roller is going from spectacular success to almost spectacular failure. So that was a 91 versus 40.
Wow. Okay. Okay. There is Okay, there's going to be some sanity here in a second. Linus.
53 under 60, success.
Oh, nice. Griss.
23 under 45 is a regular success.
Oh, and Orm.
11 under 75, extreme success.
Oh my word, the dice couldn't tell a better story, could they? Okay, so Yulva, I'd like you to give me, in fact, you all need to give me a sanity roll, please. But luckily, because of your power, there is a dictation here as to what happens.
Success.
All right, so Linus, success. Yulva?
That would be a failure. 48 versus 34. I only started with 40 sanity. You know,
Wow,
I was never going to make that one.
This is going to, yeah. So that's the life of a Viking, I'm afraid. Sanity is not something that's given as a boon.
Isn't Yulva in a bout of madness?
I am
is.
still,
Oh,
yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is. Although it was
I
just about to
saved you a little
finish.
bit, Lynne.
Was just about to finish. Griss.
That's a failure. 86 over 45.
Oh, and Orm.
51 under 74.
Okay. So what's going to happen is, Yulva, you can't go more mad at this point because, as Hedge has pointed out, you are in a bout of madness. Even if you're coming out of it, you're still technically in it, but you are going to lose some sanity. Could you roll me a 1d8, please? And we'll explain why in a second, what we're seeing here and why. Linus rolled a success on his sanity and a success on his power roll. So can you give me a 1d4, please? Linus, Griss, Griss, you got you succeeded on your power roll but failed on your sanity. So can you give me a 1d6, please? And Orm, you succeeded with an extreme success on your power and a success on your sanity. So you lose 1 point of sanity. How did the other guys go? Yulva, how much did you lose?
I lost 3 points of sanity.
Gain 3 points of Cthulhu mythos, please.
Hey!
Linus.
Actually, I should have gained 5 from the last time as well, shouldn't I? So, oh, wow. My Cthulhu mythos is going great guns at this point.
I lost 3.
Then you gain 3 of Cthulhu mythos. Griss?
2.
Then you gain 2. Orm? You had that 1 taken away, so you gain 1 point of Cthulhu mythos.
Nice.
So, in this moment, the reason we're losing sanity and the reason we're having this, there's a power roll here, and the reason why there's this gain of Cthulhu mythos is because there's a few things that happen at once, and the assault on the psyche, the senses, and just your sense of being are rattled. The fire starts. Orm sees the bucket of water. He's about to say something. The body of this goat chicken monster thing starts rattling on the floor. It is in that moment that you see it rattling that you notice that it's not the actual goat chicken amalgamation that's moving. It's the roots that seem to entwine its muscles and embedded through the sinew that seem to be jittering away. It seems to almost be moving this dead carcass away from the area that Yulva is in. In that moment, this fire being struck, you feel this oppressive sense wash over you, this sickness in your stomach. You feel this sense of threat fall over you like nothing you've ever felt. The threat that you can only imagine a god would have if you had disturbed their holy place. You feel this touch of a god, and it makes you sick. Yulva, your left arm, where you felt some of the sparks touch your arm, it's itchy, it's scratchy, you can't stop scratching at it and rubbing at it every time you get the opportunity. There's something, oh God, you just want to kind of move it and scratch it. It's painful. And you all see Yulva quite rapidly scratching her arm for a moment. But that's when this sharp wash of light hits you all at the same time. And your eyes are drawn up to the ceiling, up around the walls. And as it is, you see the stained glass again. You're seeing it now over each of the stones, over each of the doorways. The east door where you came in, you see this stained glass above. 13 men sitting around a stone table, eating food. Sorry, not the door you came in from, the far side, the eastern door, sorry, where the thurible was, where the dead priest was when you came in. 13 men sitting around this table, eating food and drinking wine and spitting it out onto this stone. The northern stained glass, the northern window above this stone with this rune in it, this almost fire-like thing carved into it. You see a woman ripping her robes and rubbing ash on her face and scattering it on the ground around her in these series of actions. The western stained glass, the door that you came in from, you see this older man sacrificing a younger man on a stone altar, covering this altar in blood. And finally, almost above you, above where you are, on the southern side of this monastery, you see this stained glass, each with these red shards that are now shining through, rippling in time with the fire. You see that there are these black marks, these seeds that are planted around this stone, around this healthy ash tree. And you can see these lines reaching out to where these seeds are, but not quite getting to them.
And we deal with the fire.
Yes, you can.
Linus wants to, he's being quite practical. He wants to try and grab any of the dry goods and move them away from the fire. As a first point of principle, although he is also a little bit worried about these roots and hoping that Griss either attacks them or sets them on fire. He might even try that. Griss, try and set the roots on fire. And then I'm going to dive for the food.
Okay. I think there's definitely enough room for you to be able to be grabbing those bags and pulling them around to the outside. Why don't you give me a strength roll to see how many you can get out and if there's any other complications. Griss.
I hear what's said to me. And although it disgusts me, I go to grab like the writhing sort of half remains and throw it. I want to try and throw it into the fire as I've been advised by Linus.
Okay.
I do what I'm told. I'm told, I will think straight away and I will just do it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. You run, you grab this thing, you turn around, swing, and you huss it over to where the fire is. Yulva, can you give me a dodge roll? And Linus,
I'm guessing probably not.
Linus, your strength roll?
91 over 60. Fail.
Okay, what's the 2 bags you get out of there? What do you grab? There was like flour, seeds, corn.
Yeah, let's say he's failed miserably. He's got a bag of flour and a bag of seeds that are potentially useful if he gets them back home, but are not what he wanted, which was food.
Okay, and you get those out. You are able to take them to a safe distance away from the fire. The building itself is stone. It is a solid stone building. So depending on how dangerous Yulva is in the future, we're not convinced the whole thing is going to burn down. How was the dodge roll, Yulva?
Of course, the dodge roll didn't work. She's still watching the flames and scratching her arm. So that was a 75 versus 62.
Okay, can you give me...
And she's not spending luck because she doesn't have an awful lot of that left anyway.
Can you give me a 1d4, please, Yulva?
Righty-ho.
Or we're going to be coming straight to you.
That's
a 1. So tell me what happens as this the split remains of this goat chicken root monster thing is thrown at you and hits you before it lands in the fire.
Well, obviously I'm distracted or Yulva's distracted because she's, scratching at her arm and watching the flames and wondering where this thing's gone that she's trying to burn, when all of a sudden it sort of like clocks her at knee level and knocks her down into the straw.
Perfect. So you've been hit by this thing and you're knocked into the straw next to the fire. Okay, perfect. And that 1 point obviously that is a point of your health that Griss got a bit carried away there. Or was it the goat chicken that got carried away? Orm, what'd you do?
I'm going to add to the chaos by throwing a bucket of water into the midst.
Nice. And this is into the fire/goat chicken remains.
Yeah, and possibly all over Yulva in the process as well.
Nice.
It's
Okay.
going to get messy.
Fantastic. Can you? Do we go for a throw with that or a dexterity roll? It's not technically throw, is it? Like catch. It's more of a huh. So I'll let you decide there. Or what do you think?
I'm less crap at dexterity, so I'll go for that.
Always the smart choice.
It is still a miserable failure, though, with 88 over 50.
Okay, so I like it. So this is what's going to happen then, I think. You throw the water at the goat chicken leg monstrosity. Yulva's kind of writhing on the floor. She's just been hit by the goat chicken leg thing. What you notice, though, as you're throwing it, and perhaps even why there's a slight misthrow with this, Orm, is that as the goat chicken leg thing touches the fire, literally instantly, you see these roots kind of just like retract inside the goat chicken leg body. They just whip inside of it, and you can see that they kind of they harden as they do, and there's this sense of like, and then you throw the water on, the fire sputters out, smoke and steam pour off. This is a closed building. There is a significant amount of smoke now that just kind of plumes up in front of you all and makes it quite difficult to breathe and see.
It stinks. Oh.
Yeah. I think Orm's just got to stagger out of the room, eyes streaming, coughing.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Ylva's trying to do now, while getting as far away from that thing as possible, as quickly as possible.
I have a question.
I will.
Sorry. So are both pieces? Did Griss manage to throw both pieces, because he severed it in two, didn't he? I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, managed to throw both pieces. Griss, your hands feeling itchy. You feel it. You can see Ylva scratching her arm. Linus and Orm are just, dealing with this fire. Nobody's looking at you, but you can feel there is an itch that you'd like to scratch. It's on the palms of your hand. It reaches just on those little cracks in between those fingers. Each one of the joints, you can just feel this irritable itch.
He looks over to Yulva and he's, you feel that? Do you feel that too? He starts scratching away at his hands.
You too. Yes, it won't stop.
Is there something wrong? Is it? Have you been poisoned? Is it mystical, seer, Orm? What do you think?
You say, Griss, you say it is your hands that you were just holding that thing in your hands. Is it the blood? Have you got the blood on your hands?
And he looks down at his hands, and apart from where he's scratching, does he see anything else at all?
You see patches on the hands that, bizarrely, even after rowing, after the battle axe, after everything that you do on a regular basis, all of a sudden that skin seems really hard, and it seems like it's cracking, like it's sore, it's cracking.
there's something in that. And he's really itching, so he's looking around, trying to find something that could possibly soothe it. He's looking for some more water or something cold to put his hands in. Anything he can do to take that itch away.
Okay, give me a luck roll. Yulva, you seeing Griss doing this, and you're scratching your arm. Do you?
I'm going to look down at it. Yes, because I mean, as far as I thought, I'd just got sparks from the flints and the knife on there. I, just it's a bit of a singe.
Yeah, sure, possibly. When you look at it, you don't even need to roll. What you see is that there is a portion of your skin that seems to be uneven, doesn't seem to be smooth like the skin was, seems to be almost kind of bobbled, but it's gone hard, and it's grey and brown. There is a patch of skin, probably 3 inches long, maybe an inch wide, across your forearm now, and it's itching. It's really itching. It seems like it's hard. And if you poke it, if you prod it, you don't feel it like you feel skin. You almost feel like you're knocking on something and your skin is beneath.
This is evil magic. There must be something you can do. This isn't right.
Yeah, I will take a look and try to work out if there is anything I can do.
Excellent. Is that a roll, or are we first aiding, medicine, occulting, jumping? What are we thinking there?
It feels it feels like there's a bit of triage or something going on here, or at least initial diagnosis where he's trying to work out whether it is poison or whether it's magic. Based on that feeling we just had a moment ago of encountering something divine, Orm is leaning very much towards the magic side of things here.
Okay, so what are we going to have? What kind of a roll are we going to have?
If occult is appropriate, I'm very happy to roll occult.
I absolutely believe it is. In fact, I think it's probably one of the more appropriate rolls for Orm in this moment.
That's an extreme success then, 12 under 70.
Ooh, Orm. In this moment, you see Griss with these cracked hands, and he's kind of rubbing them together, maybe even scratching them on a wall, looking for something, looking for some water, looking for something. And you did roll for that, didn't you, Griss?
Yes, I failed.
Right. So you don't actually find any water, but what you do find is you frantically turn around. You kind of turn into this other wooden room opposite the one that Yggrdasil was trying to set on fire, or did set on fire, and you find this study with this monk study with books and papers and things. But you actually see that there's a bottle of wine on the table there. So I'll let you deal with that in a moment as you see fit, that bottle of wine. But Orm, you see Griss almost frantically looking for something. Linus is very much watching on, but also distracted by something else that's happening. Yulva, on the other hand, scratching this, shows you this patch of skin. Is that right, Yulva? You show this patch of skin?
Yes.
So you show this patch of skin. Orm, Yulva has been cursed. You have heard of these stories. This is the work of the gods. It may be the Christian gods. You don't know. But when people cross your gods, when people cross Odin, Thor, Balder, Freya, Frigga, they get punished. This is punishment. I would say with your extreme success, okay, with an extreme success, you deserve more. Or with an extreme success, you recall a story, the saga of Suna. And in the saga of Suna, which you quite angrily heard Askr Yelloweye talking about before you set sail, his supposed visions that he had. He's never had visions before, but all of a sudden he had visions. And it related to the Saga of Sunna, that on this island, Skógrbein, Sunna met Freya. But Freya presented herself as this stone-like goddess that Sunna worshipped and performed a series of rituals for. Can't really remember specifically the end of the story, whether there was anything specifically about that resolution of that story. But you know that Freya has been known to curse those that would cross the gods, especially those that would work against the ways, the living lifestyle of Vikings, of true Vikings.
So I think Ylva sees Orm go pale and just back away, shaking his head, and say, "We are cursed. We have come to a cursed place, and we are cursed ourselves now. We must find some way of making amends, of appeasing Freya and the other gods. Maybe appeasing the gods of this place too, so that they will not take further retribution upon us."
Linus looks down at all the things he's stolen. Should I put this back?
I don't know. I don't know what they want, but I have an idea.
Him, what does he know? He must know something. He lives here. And Ylva points at the monk.
Alien Frimedon, Brimfronon.
What are the voices that I hear say?
I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I don't know what's happening to you. But I want to help. I want to help. You also heard, Linus, I should have said, when Orm was saying, "I have a plan, we are cursed, the gods are not happy with us," you heard the voices all repeating that in their own languages.
Jättebra. Orm, Seer, maybe there is clue in this place, because you see there is their stories in the glass, but there is also the stones. They look Viking. Maybe the Christians, they built something on top of something sacred. Maybe it is our gods who are here.
Yes, maybe. I need to find out more.
Should we go deeper?
Find out later. Sort my hands. My hands.
Keep a watch on me. I'm going to try to learn more. And I'm going to sit down, basically, in the pool of blood from where that creature was killed earlier. And I am going to, first of all, swallow some of the psychedelics that I've got. I am going to start daubing myself with the blood from that's pooled on the ground. Excellent. And I am going to cast Augur.
Right. Now, this spell comes with a cost, does it not, Orm?
It really does.
Now, I think on your sheet, you can actually hover over that spell and click it, and it rolls it for you. So the spell itself costs 4 magic points, and then there's a 1d20 sanity cost. Yes. Could you tell us, Orm, what your cost was?
Mercifully, perhaps, I have rolled a 3.
Classic Orm. So there's 4 points of magic there. Linus, Griss, and Yulva, in your respective states of I suppose anxiety and concern, or feverish kind of worry, or just incensed kind of anger or passiveness, depending on how you're feeling about this, how affected you are by the events that are happening. But what you see, as Orm described, the ingestion of psychedelics, not that you would know that, but you would see Orm with his herbs and different perhaps pastes and things, ingesting them, sitting in the blood of this animal as well, is incredibly brave, considering what's been happening. And as Orm sits there, you see his head roll back, his eyes widen, but as they widen, they are white. His eyes have rolled back in his head, and you can see that he begins to vibrate. He begins to shake. Orm's arms stretch out to the side, his fingers stretching, reaching out. But that's what you see. Orm, what you see is something very different. Previously, Orm, you had seen a white light, almost like a line, a shard, a stick in the sky. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you had seen it fall to the earth and hit the ground. Where this monastery is, where this building is, you could see this island, and you saw it hit the ground. What you see now, Orm, isn't the white stick that falls from the sky. You are the white stick that falls from the sky. And as it rattles through the cosmos, you see it growing closer to this blue-green orb. And as this white stick that vibrates, you are vibrating, this almost bolt of lightning rattling through the atmosphere, and you slam into the ground, into this island, into this location, and you slam deep into the ground. And time passes, Orm. Many, many years pass. You see the waves swish, wash, wash, wash in, out, over generations go past. You see people come, people go, people come, people go, settlement built, settlement falls. You see people in rags coming around. You see people carving rocks around you. You see people coming up to you and chanting and screaming and dancing around, and fires, and then they all go. Their buildings all disappear. It's almost as this is a fast forward imagery. And then you see people arriving, and they're wearing bronze, almost golden, metallic muscle armor with red plumes on their heads. And they come in with their swords, and they come in with fire, and they scream at you and they shout at you, and you vibrate and you get angry, and you reach out into the ground, and you can feel yourself stretching into the ground. These people go. And then you see new people coming in. They build a house. They go. More people come in. They build a hut over the top of you. They put these rocks around, these 4 rocks. You see them land on you, and you hate them, Orm. They disgust you. On one, you see someone scattering something by the ground, rubbing this dust around it, and you feel it weighing you down. On another, you see someone consuming some drink and then spitting it all over this stone. And whatever it is that they're doing, this stone, it weighs you down. It's almost as if you've got so many feet and legs, and these rocks seem to be weighing you down. Another, it's someone sprinkling these dots around you, and they grow, and as they grow, they pull this rock down, and it weighs you down. And then lastly, Orm, you see someone coming up. They're all shaved heads. They're all wearing these rags. They've all got these markings all over their face, and you see that one, naked, stands in front of the rock, looks out to the other, speaks in a tongue that you don't understand, lifts their neck up, takes a knife, and then opens their own throat, spraying their life all over this rock. And as it does, this rock sinks and weighs you down. And the rage and the anger that you feel, Orm, your vibrating self reaching out, you're trying to reach out from within this. Time passes. And then a rock, another rock, another rock, another rock. It goes dark, Orm. They have built something over the top of you. And then it falls, and then they build it again, and then it falls, and then they build it bigger, and then they build it better, and then they build it stronger. You feel, Orm, trapped. You feel that whoever these new people are, as time begins to slow, and you feel yourself in the ground, they have spit wine, they have sown seeds, they have spread ash, and they have sacrificed, and you feel the weight of those stones holding you in place, trapping you, keeping you captive, keeping you away from the one you love, the one you call mother. And then Orm, with a breath, your eyes roll back, your arms are stretched out, and you come back to yourself sitting in this puddle of blood with the others looking at you.
And without a word, I snatch up my spear, get to my feet, walk over to the monk and run him through.
It's getting better than them. Run them. Hit that. Freedom. Hey. Freedom. Hey. Linus, you heard his final words. I just wanted to help. I just wanted to help. I could have helped. I forgive you. And then he drops to the floor, sliding off your blade.
I think he wanted to hit.
He was not helping. There's been a great wrong done here. There is something divine. I don't know what it is. A child of Freya, maybe. Something imprisoned down below. They were keeping this godling prisoner. They are just the latest in a long line of jailers. This is a prison. This is a tomb designed to keep it trapped beneath the earth, and it is crying out for our help. It is crying out to be free.
So what do we do?
Well, we need to demolish this place. We need to tear it down stone by stone. We need to efface their markings. But that will not be enough. We need to go down below and find the rock that is weighing this godling down and free it.
Keeper, I've been nicking silver cups and other bits and bobs. I must have something metallic. I'd like to hurl it at one of these stained glass windows and try and destroy it.
Of course. Can you give me a throw roll, please?
Oh dear. I'd actually have to do it. That is, to 97 versus 20. It's saying failure, but I would have thought that was a fumble.
It is.
That is a fumble. That is a fumble. You're quite right. Do you have
Someone needs to tell D20 off.
Yeah, they do. Do you have a fumble in mind here? Because I do, but at the same time, I'm happy for you to lead on this.
No, hit me. What you got?
Okay. Could Griss and Yulva give me a luck roll, please? All I've got in mind is
no.
a little bit of collective torture. just to spice things up a bit. Okay, Ylva, what was your luck roll?
It was 83 versus 32.
Ooh, and Griss, what was your luck roll?
It was 43 versus 35.
So what we like is a bunch of losers because everybody likes to feel like they're in good company. So welcome to the party. But Ylva, you seem to have taken the trophy on this one. As you're scratching your arm, after Orm conducted this investigation of your arm, stepped back, told you were cursed, told you that something is wrong here. Perhaps there's a moment where you step back. Ylva, you see Orm drop into this trance, his eyes roll back, you see his arms stretching out, you see him vibrating, and you see him acting in a way that even for Volur, you might not have seen him act in this way before. He looked like he was fully in communion with the gods, if not, a very specific god that you seem to be very close to. And you backed up. You backed right up to one of those stones, perhaps the northern wall. Linus turns round, looks for one of the nearest stained glass, and throws his cup. Now, it would be fun, Ylva, to tell you that the cup hits you in the face, but it doesn't. Even with a fumble, sometimes things can happen, like failing forward. With this iron or silver cup, he throws it, and it hits that window center mass. The window explodes, it shatters, but unfortunately it shatters inwards because there is now this mass of roots behind that seem to be slowly writhing upon each other, and they have blocked out the sun. But this stained glass window shatters, and as it does, the falls, and this rain of glass, Ylva, falls onto you. So I would like you to give me a dodge roll, please, Ylva. I don't need to introduce any kind of menace to you guys.
Really
you are a
don't
menace
know.
to yourselves.
Oh, now you roll nicely. Okay. So that's an extreme success. That's a 2 out of 62.
What the what's? Okay, so there was a fumble. So I am going to say with the extreme success, we're not going to roll to see damage there, but there is going to be 1 point of damage. But what that is essentially, though, considering what happened, an entire stained glass window shattered, large fragments of glass broke off and began to fall down. This could have been horrific. This could have been the end of Ylva. This could have been just absolutely savage. In a court of law, it would have been a tricky one to judge who was at fault here. But Ylva, in this moment, almost scratching your skin. In fact, it's the first bit of glass that comes down that hits this skin on your arm, and as it does, you can see that it doesn't pierce your skin, it bounces off, and that's the thing that gives you your moment of movement, and you're able to move through. You get a small cut down the side of your neck here. What do you guys do? This window smashes, shatters, pours down on Ylva, who manages to dance out of the way with her nimble hunter kind of instincts. You're all standing there.
There's lots of roots following into the window.
The roots aren't necessarily coming into the building yet, but what you're seeing is the gap that now would be a window looking out into daylight. There is no daylight. That hole has now been covered up by these massive moving roots. And in fact, as you smashed it, Linus, you probably saw the last vestiges of light disappear as it closed in on itself and created this, I suppose, new living wood wall.
So what kind of how much movement has these roots got? Is it like just gentle, or is it quite sort of writhing sort of?
Do you know, it's more of a pulsing,
right?
Griss. As you look at it, you can almost see it just kind of. You can see that it's alive. You can see that it's moving. You don't know whether with that explosion of stained glass, whether that's a reactive maneuver, maybe a defensive instinct of whatever's happening here, or you don't know whether it was a conscious act.
Can Griss make a comparison to the to the roots that were arriving from the mass of the amalgamated monstrosity?
Absolutely. I mean, this stained glass was, you were probably looking at about 15, 20 foot up here. This is a high stained glass, but even from there, seeing the amount of roots that have now kind of creaked and stuck together and are now slightly pulsing, especially after having it in your hands and throwing it at the fire, seeing those roots kind of pull back in themselves, the way they moved, there was a slickness to them for something that perhaps should move in a slightly different way. Yeah, you can recognize that there is an absolute relationship between the two.
Well, after a moment's pause of kind of shock and taking it all in, that, she's been told she's been cursed, this window's just exploded all over her. She spots the cup and she just rounds on Linus, and it's like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? You could have killed me, you fool.
I was looting and destroying the. I was doing as I.
Do you want us all to look like you? Is that it?
Single tear
Oh.
goes down his face.
Some sad piano music in the background.
I have a technical question.
Of course.
Do you know how a significant portion of the room was on fire?
Yes.
And we have now established that the whole building is covered in wood.
Yes. Well, you can see, so it is a stone building, but what you can see, you could absolutely presume and make an educated guess, but you absolutely believe that window itself, that bar where the stained glass was, yes, it looks like that is now a wall of living wood.
I see. Should we maybe go downstairs before this whole place turns into a giant bonfire?
Yes.
I thought you'd largely managed to put it out.
The fire was put out and the smoke kind of plumed up to the top. You can still very much taste it actually in the air, the smoke. There's probably a little bit of smoke kind of lingering up in the roof, not able to escape the building itself. But the fire itself has gone out.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we should still go downstairs. That is where the answers we're looking for lie.
If you're asking me to destroy, that's what I do. Lead the way.
Excellent. Well, if Griss is going to lead the way as you move back over to where originally you came in and you saw all the priests bending over, praying over another priest that had been slain. You find there are two staircases, one that leads down, one that leads up. Griss, it sounds like you're going down the one that leads down.
Yep. I've grabbed my axe, holding it. By the way, I grabbed that wine. I poured some on my hands. I drank the rest, and holding the axe sort of gives me some comfort.
Yeah,
from the itching.
Okay, and are you all following Griss down?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so as you're going down, and Griss is in the lead here, something that you are all able to perceive on your way down. No roll needed. You begin going down these stone steps, but as you go down, you see that there's almost a perhaps this isn't the language that you would use, perhaps it is, but there is almost an architectural change as you go down. You see the rock type change, and you begin to see these like a mural in the wall, essentially. You see these armored individuals, these golden headed, red plumed, short sword wielding individuals, and what they seem to be doing is putting their swords inside a a flame inside a bowl, and you can see that they then you can see that they're then kind of charging at this. It looks like a giant stone, or a giant something, but you can see these golden-headed, red-plumed individuals charging with their kind of golden, now yellow swords, and they're attacking this golden bloom. But as you're looking at that on your way down, you can hear a thumping, a rhythmic thumping. And as you arrive at the bottom of the stairs, you see that there is a larger room. You see that there are a number of built-in stone. It's all stone. You see there are a number of built-in stone graves across the sides, and there are 6 large pillars in the middle. What you also see is that on one of the nearer pillars is one of your fellow Vikings, Skógrbein, and he's lying up against one of the pillars, and he sees you coming in, and he kind of puts his finger up to his mouth, and he's kind of showing you, be quiet, and then he kind of gestures behind him. And what you see are the other Vikings from the raiding party, from Askr Yelloweye's raiding party. They seem to be kneeling in this semicircle, all looking towards a wall, all looking towards a stone wall. But as far as you've come in, that's what you can see. Skógrbein is lying, well, sitting on the floor really, but nearly lying down, his back against this pillar, and you can see that he is holding his abdomen, and there is some red life blood welling through his fingers, and you can he's lying there, and he's kind of finger to the mouth, telling you to shush, and then he's pointing around the corner at the rest of his raiding party. What would you like to do?
I would look to Orm. Sorry.
Yeah, Orm's just looking puzzled, trying to work out what's going on here.
Do you want to give me actually Orm or anybody really? I think Orm probably an occult roll. Anybody else is welcome to give me an occult roll, or I'd say an intelligence roll, perhaps, possibly a religion roll. If you'd like to propose a roll as well, you're very welcome to. If Griss says battle axe, then it's changing the narrative.
I don't seem to have a hunting skill as such, so I will go with an intelligence roll.
Okay.
Actually, no, she is actually quite intelligent. Damn you, dice roller.
God, I love a good bribe. Really sets up the dice the way you want it to go, doesn't it? Okay.
Man.
Scratching his head with his axe. Okay, so let's have a look. Orm, your occult roll, please.
No, that is a 76 over 70. And so I think just because of the unsettling nature of the whole situation, that rhythmic noise and everything, Orm has come down here with one set of expectations and has encountered things that he was very much not expecting, and is now confused. He is very confused. He is also very stoned. That's probably not helping.
I think I've seen that, or used to listen to that album, Dazed and Confused. Okay, really good. So, Yulva, what about yourself?
That would be an 89 out of 80. This skin itching is just distracting her.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I think this site as well, it's a confusing site. You're seeing members of your raiding party who should be behaving more like Linus than anybody else, really, and Griss, chopping people up and stealing things. Possibly yourself, Yulva, setting things on fire. Orm kind of does his own thing, we know, because he's the voleur. But they seem to be kind of just in this semicircle staring at this wall, and there is this rhythmic thumping coming from somewhere. It's incredibly off-putting. Linus.
Linus tried to understand this through the prism of his own religious beliefs and has fallen incredibly stumped at an 89/20. So he's sort of just giving up and diving behind the pillar with his clanmate, assuming that whatever is going on, he can leave it to the seers and the berserkers and just clean up the pieces like he has always done.
Nice. So Linus is going over to Skard, who's injured.
Yeah.
Right. Perfect. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. Perfect. Griss, your role, please.
It's an extreme success. It's 6 over 50. This is Griss's sort of more familiar territory, sort of like violence nearby. It doesn't affect him. He can focus. It sort of helps him focus.
Okay.
And it sort of clears his mind, and he's sort of looking around, sort of working things out.
Yeah. Okay. So as you walk into this room and you see Skard, who's been injured, you can't see any monks. You see this raiding party, these people that you have fought with, you have sailed with, you have pillaged with, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. That almost gives you a clarity. The fact that they are doing something complete contrast, the antithesis to where they should be and what they should be doing. And you see them peaceful, calmly, weapons on the floor in front of them. And they're looking at this wall, this western wall, this central kind of stone on this western wall. It's in that moment, Griss, that you're looking at them. They look like they're hardly moving. They look like that they are rooted to the floor. But you see, with an extreme success, Griss, you see beyond Askr, Ston, Sonult, and Tova. You see beyond. You see where they're looking. You see what they're looking at. And in that wall, that western wall, there seems to be the normal stone formation. I say normal, this earlier stone formation. But as it conjoins in the middle, there's almost this larger area. And it looks like stone, but it's almost, it's a giant piece of whatever. It looks like stone. You look at your hands, Griss. Those cracks, those little moments between. You see that they are turning this grey brown. They are flaking. There's little flecks. And you look at your hand, and then you look at what they're looking at. There is a similarity.
So, in this moment, Griss starts to derobe. Okay. And he takes out a dagger and he cuts it down the side of his face. And he looks to Ylva and he says, Ylva, what's it like to hunt in the wilderness on your own?
Exhilarating. Freeing. There is no feeling like it to be one with the wind, to be one with nature.
Yeah. I've always admired that. I wish I could have joined you. And then, after saying that, he launches into a fury and attacks what is ahead of him.
Amazing. So is he attacking the other raiding party? Or is he attacking He's
attacking what he sees his hands becoming. That's what he's going for.
Okay. So this is a feature, isn't it, of the Berserker Clym? This is a feature for Griss going into this fury. So if this is on your character sheet, could you roll it for us, please? Superb. So this is a magic point cost of 5.
Mhm.
And what's the sanity cost on this?
23.
Oh!
Whoa.
Oh, good
Okay.
grief.
Okay. So what does that leave your sanity at, Griss?
That leaves it at 17.
Wow. Okay. This is a defining moment for Griss Orenson. I love that there is that beautiful moment asking you about hunting before. Griss. What?
He feels he's not coming back from this one. He feels, and he looks to the party and he says, "Stay the fuck away from me." And then he goes.
Okay, so the way this works is you've stripped your armor, you've cut yourself. You've got this internal kind of rage that's building, and you've got essentially mechanically for this scenario, you've got 5 rounds, and you can do 3 attacks per round. Yeah. So this is like extended fury. So what I'm going to ask of Yulva, Linus, and Orm, we're going to do those rounds with Clym, with Griss, and as we do those rounds, I'm going to quickly stop every time we go through one of the rounds and go, what would you like to do? And if you could, at a certain pace, we're going to try and go through this to match the pace of Griss's kind of rage here. It might be nothing. You might go, no, I'm doing this, and I'm just going to stay here. Or it might be, I'm taking advantage of this moment, etc., etc., etc. But I'll allow you to work that in the very short time I give you to work it out. Griss, do you charge through the party? Do you charge past Askr Yelloweye?
Straight through all. They to me they're useless. And I'm just like,
oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. So one of the things that you do is as you burst through, you charge through, you draw the attention of where you're going. So you burst through the raiding party, you burst through where Askr Yelloweye is, and you actually see this. This is what you see before you. This bunch of sigils that you have seen before. This is on this larger stone, but it doesn't look like stone. It's almost like wood. And you charge at it with your battle axe, and you can see that there are other notches and cuts in it, and you run up there and you attack. 1, 2, 3. Can you give me those first 3 rolls in this first round, please, Griss, with whatever weapon you'd like to use as you start tearing into this?
Well, that's great. I can make that a success. I can spend luck on that, can't I?
Well, yeah, absolutely. These are attack rolls. You can spend luck. Absolutely.
Yep.
So that was 81 over 80. That's not a big spend, is it? That's
No.
definitely a sure thing. Okay, excellent. So let me have that. So the damage on that roll?
3.
Right, next roll. Go. 3 attacks per round.
10.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, and the next one?
7.
Oh, my word.
Like that.
And you see that this sigil on this that looked initially like a stone platform, it now looks like wood, and now you see that Griss is literally carving into it. You can see that he is carving holes into this thing. He is cutting his way through this, and this is on one series of attacks from this rageful beast. You've all seen him in action, but now you are seeing what a true berserker is, the animal they become when this red mist descends, when the glory of the gods, when Odin's fury sits in their mind. This is what they become. I'm just going to roll something quickly. Just, for
That's
fun.
never a good thing when the GM says that, is it? I'm just going to roll this.
For fun. Okay.
All my life, or whatever that is, that's terrifying.
I've rolled a 63, and that's really exciting with no explanation. Okay, so Orm, what do? You see this? You're seeing Griss run, like derobe, cut his face. You see this rage fall upon him. He darts through the other raiding party, and then he attacks. What do you do?
So the object that he's carving up, this petrified wood with the sigil on it.
Yes.
Is this what I saw in my vision, the thing that was weighting the god down?
You know, it's a really, really good question. When Griss drives his axe into this, and when he collectively, in one round, causes 20 points of damage with his axe, you feel this pit in your stomach. You feel a longing. You feel a longing for your mother. But it's not your mother, it's your mother.
It's Freya.
Very well could be. It's Freya. And that sits with you. That sits in your mind. Whatever Griss is doing, he's hurting Freya.
Well, I think Orm is probably just reeling in shock from this for the moment, wondering how he has so terribly misjudged this situation. This is supposed to be freeing her. This is supposed to be helping her, not hurting her. He doesn't understand what's going on. So I think for this round, he's just trying to make sense of this. He's trying to reconcile his vision with what he's feeling now, and it doesn't make any sense.
Excellent. Linus, you ran over to Skógrbein, who's lying on the floor, sitting up against a pillar, bleeding. He's looking in complete shock now. You do notice, Linus, that the raiding party, they seem to be standing up very slowly.
What the fuck is going on?
Askr Yelloweye, the bastard, he stuck me. They came down here and they started talking in fucking pagan languages. All of them talking fucking nonsense, and he came at me, stuck me, stabbed me because I tried to stop him and get him back upstairs. Oh, Linus, I don't think I'm going to make it.
Do I think he's going to make it?
Would you like to make a roll?
I'll take what I assume is base first aid. No, I have no idea.
He looks good to you. He looks like he's ready to go for a run.
No, I've seen worse. Come on. I'm going to attempt to stumble back upstairs with him.
Okay, perfect. You can hoik him up. I think if you could, not that you can't do this, this is more a determination of perhaps the time it takes. Could you give me a strength roll if you're kind of hoiking him and then going back up the stairs?
Hard success, 24 over 60.
Okay, so it doesn't actually take too long. You're halfway up the stairs as you feel the monastery shake. The stones, old and new, rattle. And there is a slight sickness in your stomach, but you are marching your way back upstairs with Skógrbein, who is one hand on his stomach as these welts of blood just seem to be leaking through his fingers. Yulva.
Fantastic.
Well, Yulva's slightly stunned at Griss's declaration. I mean, she's always had a huge amount of respect for him and possibly, sort of feelings in that general direction as well. But, she spends a lot of time outside the village. She's been so busy trying to prove to everyone that she can take care of herself that, she's never really considered that side of things. I mean, at least she stopped scratching her arm.
Yeah.
But she's just sort of watching this man and realizing that, maybe if they get out of this, they could have a life together, as he's just wailing into this thing. and just to just indecision, what does she do? Does she help him? Does she keep out of his way like he told her? She doesn't really want to get in front of a berserker. So yes, for the moment, she's very much kind of what is the best course of action here?
Perfect. So she assesses the situation, ponders on the life she could have and the mistake it would be to stand in front of a berserker and try and get their attention. As that kind of thought process goes through, Askr Yelloweye, Tova, Stana, and Sonult stand. They reach down to the ground and they pick up their weapons. Collectively, almost in one movement, they all take 1 foot back and raise an axe or a sword or a spear in one hand. And they all bring them down together at the same time towards Griss Orenson's back. And that's where we'll finish this episode of Branches of Bone. Join us for Act 4 to find out what happens. Thank you for joining us for Act 3 of Branches of Bone. If you like the show and want to support the Miskatonic Playhouse, you can do this for as little as £1 on Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse. And we would be incredibly thankful if you could take the time to leave a review wherever you listen to our podcast or watch our videos. You can also join us on Discord, Facebook, and other social media platforms via our website, www.miskatonicplayhouse.com, and through the links found in the show notes. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.